If you could grow food, you can make money. But the real question is, where are you going to sell your market garden produce? And today I'm breaking it all down. By the end of this video, you'll know the best sales outlets to sell your produce and make money your first year growing. And if you haven't already, can you hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you get notified every time I make a new video about making money from your backyard? And if you want to know the best crops to grow for income, grab my free high profit crop list at the link in the description below to help you grow for profit. I'm Zach Buckle, and I'm a year-round veggie farmer in Cody, Wyoming. And last year, we were able to sell $85,000 of food produced from this half-acre plot of land. The first sales outlet I'm going to talk about today is farmers markets. Now that may seem obvious, and most people probably thought of going to a farmer's market if you have produce to sell. But the reason I need to talk about it is because it is my favorite sales outlet to this day, and we've been farming on this land for 5 years now. The reason it's my favorite is because every single person that walks within 5 feet of your booth is a potential customer that you could continue to sell to for decades. And I have customers to this day that I have been selling almost monthly or weekly to for almost a decade, because I met them at a farmer's market years ago and they have continued to buy my products because they like me and my produce, and they have transitioned into all of the other sales outlets that I'm going to talk about today, which includes veggie boxes, online retail, or even restaurants. So when you start selling produce, if you start at a really small farmer's market, just show up with a tent, 10 by 10 tent, a table or two, and your vegetables piled as high as possible with some cash. That's enough to get you started on your business journey with this. The key to success with the farmer's market is not necessarily the sexiest veggies or the biggest yields or anything like that. Especially when you're starting out, the key to success is relationships. So the more you're able to cultivate a first name basis with every single person that comes into your booth, get to know who they are, what their background is, what they do around town, that is going to pay so many dividends for you over a long period of time. Because remember, human beings, which are your customers, eat food 3 times a day, 52 weeks a year. So you have a potential opportunity to sell them what you produce in your business 52 weeks a year. So the more you're able to cultivate a relationship with a customer that is coming back to you on a weekly or monthly basis, the more your business is going to grow over time. And you'll be able to have more flexibility in how you sell over time. Because farmers markets, the biggest drawback with them is they do take a lot of your time to sell. However, if you factor in all the benefits that I'm gonna go over in the rest of this video, I think they really pay for themselves in the time invested at the very beginning. Because you probably don't have a lot of relationships with restaurant owners or enough relationships with people to do a veggie box right off the bat. And the other benefit to doing a farmer's market when you first start out is you have no pressure to produce, which, believe me, is very important as a beginner because you're gonna screw up a lot. So when you sell at a farmer's market, you only have to sell what your farm is producing that week. So there's no pressure to produce a certain yield, which, believe me, is a huge deal when you first start, because you're not gonna be good enough to consistently produce 50 bunches of carrots every single week, 52 weeks a year, or however many weeks a year you're going to be doing the farmer's market. So that flexibility gives you no pressure as a producer. You get to build relationships no matter how many sales you make at the beginning, and you can start with very little money up front. All you need is a couple $100s to make the tent, table, and hopefully you have a vehicle already to bring your produce to a market. So highly recommend you start with farmers markets and then move into everything else I'm going to talk about today. So a veggie box or a CSA is a phenomenal way to sell your produce once you get a little bit more skill under your belt. And for those of you that don't know, what that means is it's basically a pre-sold weekly share of vegetables to a person or a family for a certain number of weeks. So for example, the way my veggie box works is we sell a full share, which is about enough food for a family. It's 9 different vegetable portions of whatever the best product is on the farm for 12 weeks. We sell that for $300. So each week people are basically paying in advance $25 for a bag of 9 of the best vegetables we have coming off the farm. And so the benefit of this is you get paid in the spring when you don't have a lot of money coming into your business. So for us, the months of February through April is when we sell our shares, and we sell them at a slight discount of what you would pay at a farmer's market in season. People basically get about a 15% discount by doing this. And then we get our cash flow early in the spring, and we get to deliver in the summertime, months of late July through September, basically for us. And that's when it's really easy for us to produce the food. So we have a really nice pre-sold market in the summertime of people that are going to either pick up those 9 vegetables every week or pick them up in town, which is a new thing that we started this year, where we pre-assemble the bags, bring them to a business in town, and they're stuck in a fridge for people to pick up at their convenience at a location in town. And basically you just deliver the produce that way. So it's a great way to make an easy $300 per customer early in the spring when you need the cash, and have a pre-sold market throughout the summer. So really great way to sell your produce. The disadvantage to it is if you're new at growing and you're not able to consistently produce yields of between 20 and 50 bunches of whatever product it is every single week, then it's going to be stressful and really hard for you, because if you do this when you first start growing and you're not that good yet, you're going to have a lot of stress during that 12-week period you're delivering those veggies. And you might have to actually refund people if you're not able to deliver, and that you really don't want to do. So it's something you want to grow into, and that's why I recommend starting with farmers markets, because you can build the relationships for your veggie box and make money right away without having the skills to deliver regularly. But veggie box and CSA is a phenomenal way to sell your produce eventually. Restaurants are another great sales outlet for your produce. The benefit of selling to a restaurant is you can move bigger amounts of product at once, which is why you see here in our packing list that we have wholesale portions for bagging and retail portions for bagging, because restaurants are buying bigger portions of all of our products. So that's a really big deal for once you get good at selling, growing salad greens. The restaurants can buy bigger volumes at once, and you don't have to spend 4 to 6 hours a week standing at a farmer's market booth to sell to a restaurant. You basically just harvest it, wash it, pack it, deliver it, you're done. So it's a lot lower time commitment. However, it is something you want to grow into, probably even more than a veggie box, because a restaurant customer is going to require the most consistency from you as the grower. And that's just going to take some time to get good at. So for you to be able to be a good vendor for them, you have to consistently produce 10 to 20 pounds a week of whatever you're selling. So for example, if a restaurant is putting arugula of yours on their menu, and you're able to deliver 3 weeks in a row, but then the 4th week you don't have any because you haven't done the succession planting the right way, that's going to cause them a problem, because that arugula is on their menu. So they're going to have to scramble somewhere else to find a place to buy it. Now, a good restaurant customer is going to probably understand and work with you, but it causes them a lot of headache the more often you do that. So you really want to be a good grower before you move into restaurant customers. And the other drawback to restaurants is you want to work with a restaurant that you really think is going to stay in business for a long time and hopefully has the same chef for a long time. Because what happens is if you build a relationship with a chef and then that chef decides to leave that restaurant, the next chef could totally stop caring about farm to table cooking and never buy your stuff again. So you have a market that was buying a couple $100s a week of your stuff that just went poof and went away. So that's the drawback to restaurants, is they can be volatile depending on who's running the business. We tend to work with really small boutique restaurants. So They really like the change in product that we have throughout the season because they have a lot of specials on their menu. And so they're kind of a restaurant that is perfectly designed for this type of vendor as a almost farm to table restaurant. And that makes it really easy on us, and they really like the variety. So if you want to get started with restaurants, an easy way to pitch to them from the beginning is to just offer some items once in a while as a special on their menu. That way there's no pressure on you to produce regularly, and they still get the fun talking point of buying from a local farm, because most restaurants love to talk about buying from local farms, and they might even want to include your name of your farm on their menu. I've not found that to be super beneficial to my business, but it probably does benefit me in a marketing point of view, because people see my farm name on the menu and then they see me at a farmer's market. They're probably more likely to buy from me. It adds credibility to my business. So there's a lot of benefits to growing for restaurants. We do a little bit on our farm, but there's some drawbacks as well. And usually you're not getting paid the top dollar you could for that product, because you probably need to offer a little bit of a discount for the restaurant to make it worthwhile for them to buy from you. This last sales outlet is one of my favorites, and it's growing into a pretty big market for us because we've put so much work into building the relationships with those same customers we met at the farmers market. So we're able to transition them into this market, which is online farmers markets. So we have our own website called FarmTableWest.com, which you can check out at the link in the description below just to see what our website is. And our website is an online farmers market. So we have all of the products that we have available from the farm that particular week are available for purchase a la carte on our website. And that allows people to access our farm produce 24/7. So the way we do it is we have the availability updated all the time of what we have ready on the farm, and then people order Wednesday night and we deliver to a local store in town exactly what they ordered in a bag with their name on it, and then they pick it up Friday or Saturday during that store's business hours. And this store happens to be a local butcher shop, so it's a really good synergistic arrangement. We bring in foot traffic for them that will hopefully buy their beef and pork and all the other meat that they have, and then we have a good spot to access the customer base without having to have a farm stand, because we are in a pretty rural community, so it's difficult for us to have a farm stand here and be super successful. So this is becoming one of my favorites, and a lot of my very early customers I met at that farmer's market are starting to transition into this, because this is a lot more convenient than going to a farmer's market, because people have 2 whole days to pick up their order, and they could just order at their convenience. They don't have to come to a market and make all the decisions right there. So they can be looking at an online recipe and then find the ingredients online on our website and buy them and have them ready for that week's meals. So it's becoming a really awesome sales outlet for us, but it does require the most on your end to market it, because you're going to need to have your customers' email addresses, which you should start to capture when you do your Veggie Box or CSA, but you're going to need to have their email addresses to start weekly reminders to let them know about this, because this is not super mainstream yet. Not a lot of people are doing this. If you're interested in doing something like this and you don't want to set up an entire website like I did, because mine is basically through Shopify, you can use programs like Local Line or Local Food Marketplace. I don't have personal experience working with them, although I do sell with Local Food Marketplace through another food hub, but all I do is put my availability on there. But from my experience of that, it is fairly convenient. You basically take a picture of your produce, make it look really good, put the description of it and the price, and then people have the ability to pay with a credit card on that platform. Other than that, I don't have a lot of experience with working with that specific platform, but that's basically how my website works as well. It's just an online e-commerce website. Drawback with this one is you do have a monthly fee to keep a website going, but if you can grow this into a big enough market for you, that's easily going to pay for itself. And eventually, if you grow it to be big enough, it can replace a farmer's market and be a lot less time consuming for you, because all you have to do is assemble the orders as they come in through your website. And usually these websites will have an ability to create what's called a pick list. So you can easily grab exactly what was sold that week, put it on a table, and then put it into each customer's specific bags. And that makes the logistics of this whole market a lot easier than harvesting one by one for every single order that comes in. Because people are gonna order 5 to 10 items a piece, and it just depends on what they want. So that gets really complicated really fast. A lot of these websites will have a ability to create a pick list to make the logistics really easy for you. So that's a really cool way to sell your stuff that's becoming more mainstream, but it does take a lot more work on your end. So you're gonna have to do a lot of promoting on your local Facebook classified pages or marketplaces to start getting people to get used to buying their produce online. But it basically is a virtual farm stand that doesn't require somebody to be standing there for 8 hours a day, which will cost a fortune. So it's a really cool way to sell, and I'm getting excited about it the more and more I'm sinking my teeth into it. If any of this is making sense, hit that like button below and let me know which market you want to try in the comments. If you're looking to start a market garden but don't know where to begin, I've created an action plan to help people streamline the process of turning their backyard into a micro profitable veggie farm that can earn up to 20 grand in their first season. If you'd like my help starting a farm, book a call at the link in the description below so we can chat. And if you want to go deeper down the backyard farming rabbit hole, watch this video.